Hello and a very good evening to all our viewers who are joining me in this live interaction session of News 9 on Facebook as well as YouTube page. And as we all know, on Wednesday, which was the 7th of October, Rhea was granted bail by the Bombay High Court, but her brother who was arrested by the NCB in the same drugs case under the NDPS Act was refused bail by the very same judge who granted Rhea bail. Now, Showik's judicial custody has also been extended till the 20th of October, and he still has the option to apply for bail at a hearing in the special court. However, in order to get bail, his lawyers will need to argue around the observations of the Bombay High Court, which had observed that the NCB had prima facie showed that Showik was part of a chain of drug dealers. So Justice Sarang Kotwal, who held that Showik was not only knowing many drug dealers, but he was in touch with them and was actually transacting with them. So thus, the justice claimed that he is a part of a chain of drug dealers and hence he cannot be granted bail. And while Rhea had only paid a certain amount of money for drugs, allegedly which she claimed that was purchased for Sushant Singh Rajput, Showik was found to be in contact with these drug dealers, namely Abdul Basit Parihar, Dwayne, Kaizen, Karamjeet and also Suryadeep, and the monetary transactions between them were reflected in his account. And this connection to the drugs meant that while the court believed that similar to Rhea's case, Section 27A of the NDPS Act would not apply to him, the bar against bail under Section 37 of the NDPS Act would apply in Showik's case. Now, in order to answer a few questions that surround this particular report, we have with us Supreme Court Advocate Mr. Sanket Yanagi joining us on the phone line. Many thanks for joining me, sir. And my first question is, are cases booked under the NDPS Act non-bailable?
Yes. Now, the provisions which have been invoked is under Section 27 and 27A. Though the allegation is for financing illicit trafficking and the harboring of the offences which are connected to more particularly under Section 27A. So there are certain evidences according to the prosecution which connect the accused to the guilt which is punishable under Section 27A. That either it could be directly or indirectly financing or indulging in the activities which are classified under the subclauses of 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 and also of clause 8A of Section 2 of the Act, which particularly deals with this illicit trafficking and harboring the financing or illicit trafficking or so on and so forth, which is connected to the narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. So, but the question now is again before the court as to whether there is any material which would clearly demonstrate. And now he has been arrested under the process of investigation to find out as to whether he had any links of financing illicit trafficking or harboring. But in the course of investigation, even till today, the prosecution has processed in multiple directions and dimensions to understand as to whether he really has any link or not. The moment they are unable to establish it before the court, he would be granted bail. And in case the prosecution places every material to demonstrate his link, then the continuation of his custody would be ordered. In that case, the bail which has been rejected continue to operate, and he has to apply before the Bombay High Court for seeking of a bail.
Right.
But the question again is again Section 37, which operates as a bar in the normal courts where Section 27A is invoked. But now to bring it within the purview of Section 37 again, 27A, that the illicit trafficking or financing for illicit trafficking has to be demonstrated by the prosecution by evidence.
Okay.
But as such, we are unaware as to whether the prosecution has collected sufficient evidence, despite he being in the custody of the prosecution, that only discloses the veracity of the offence or the gravity of the evidences which has been collected by the prosecution.
Okay. So now,
Yes,
Mr. Sanket M. Yanagi, what other options does Showik have with him? Apart from, the Section 37, like you clearly mentioned, what other options does his legal team have now in order to get him bail?
So firstly, the prosecution cannot just seek for the extension of the custody without there being any material on record and it has to place it on record before the court and demonstrate that sufficient evidence has already been collected and that material connects him to Section 27A, and then only they can seek the protection or second seek exemption of him being granted the bail under Section 37. And in the event the prosecution fails to demonstrate with materials, or the materials placed by the prosecution before the court are insufficient to link him under Section 27A, then automatically he can seek for a bail, and he would be granted bail. And the custody, which has been extended up till the 20th of this month, that is today, by the High Court, would automatically ceases to operate further, and the court may grant bail at this stage itself. No need to again approach the High Court if the court grants here itself. Or in case the court refuses, he has an option to approach the High Court in this regard.
Right, Mr. Yanagi, many thanks for joining us in this live interaction. Well, that was the Supreme Court advocate giving us his insights and also telling us as to what other options Showik has, because Rhea is currently out on bail, whereas Showik will continue to remain in jail because the justice observed that he was not just consuming drugs, but he was also part of a drug nexus, and his transactions have showed up in his account. And that is one of the reasons why Mr. Showik Chakraborty is not getting bail even today. But he has the option to approach the Bombay High Court, and whether the Bombay High Court would budge to his request or not still remains to be seen. So if you guys have liked this piece of information that we've shared with you all today, please do like, share and subscribe to News 9 Digital, and also drop in your comments. Many thanks for joining us.